One, two, three. Welcome back, everyone. It's your Lich Jr. And I am joined not by one, but two lovely people, surprisingly. Once again with Norgo and Rudy. Say hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Alright, we're back with episode 3 of the Mite Mite No podcast. The whole troop, which is amazing, the whole crew's here. We are on this podcast right now, which is pretty awesome. Today we'll be covering episodes 11 through 15, which covers the bulk, but not all, of the Usopp saga, or the Usopp arc of the East Blue saga. Listen, arc and saga are terms that are going to get thrown around interchangeably by me a lot, so you just have to deal with that. I believe that we should just dive right into it then, because One Piece is great, and I want to talk One Piece, and I know Noriko is excited to talk about Usopp. I don't know Rudy's opinion on Usopp yet, but we'll get to it. So we open episode 11 with Usopp running towards the town. He's learned Captain Kuro's plan. He believes Luffy is dead. Um, and he is desperately trying to warn the villagers that pirates are coming. Zoro does his usual shit of getting lost and going the wrong direction, which is just, Zoro. It literally becomes like 80% of his character by the end of the series. It's very much what he does. Uh, and so we get to the village, and Usopp is yelling, the pirates are coming, like, everyone come on, and nothing happens. So he's being more forceful, and the people come out with their brooms and their mallets, and they come out, and they're like, hey, you shit, doing this twice in, like, one day? Like, you really think this is okay? And we get this really beautiful moment where Usopp, it like pauses on his face, and he looks really hurt. And it's that moment of realization that Usopp has when Kuro said, "It's fine, let him go. He can't affect our plans." Anyways, because Usopp realizes because he's the boy who cried wolf, they're just never going to believe him. And that isn't the part that makes me tear up, but it does fucking hurt because I don't hate Usopp. I like all the Straw Hats, but like this is a moment where it's like, the consequences of my actions. Fuck. Like it's just like, oh, so this is what I've done to myself over the last decade. It's finally caught up to me in the worst way possible. Uh, which is great in a terrible, terrible way. I think at this point, like while he's trying to get them to rally and they're not listening to him, we cut to Kaya, and Mary, her weird sheep man, who is a weird sheep man that is never explained, I don't think. We see other sheep-like people later. Maybe Mary is one of them. I've never looked into it. Are there theories about who Mary is? I have no idea. But I believe we cut to uh Mary and Kaya has the glasses that she got Clahador as a gift for the 3-year anniversary of him coming to the mansion. These beautiful custom-made glasses because his slide down his nose a lot, and he keeps pushing them up with the palm of his hand. Which we see. It's a very much his quirk. So we cut back to Usopp, and there's just this moment of like, see, this is something that's very interesting to me, and I want your opinions on this. Usopp then abandons the village to go and try and get Kaya away, at least. I think if Usopp had stayed with the villagers, he could have definitely got them to believe him, or at least get to the point where they're willing to humor him. Because a big part of Usopp's character in these bits is that he always runs away from them. It always becomes a game of chase. He is a kid seeking attention because his father is a piece of shit. And I'm not going to spoil what happened to his mother. But that's the part of Usopp's story that really makes me cry. So get ready for that one, Rudy. Um,
Now I want to know what happened to his mother.
you'll find out. Um, But it's a game of cat and mouse to him. He always runs away when they chase him, and they know that. Like, they're a little annoyed because he's doing it twice in one day. Like, they're a little genuinely annoyed. But the whole village is kind of in on his lies because they've been raising him on their own, basically. But he runs away again. And I think if he stood there and, like, one of them hit him, like they did, like, one of their swings, like they would normally do, knowing he would dodge out of the way, and Usopp just took it. Like, got hit to the ground. And every one of them, I think, would have stopped and went, Usopp, why didn't you run away? Like, why didn't you dodge it? And just him, like, crying on the ground, like, the pirates are coming. You're all going to die. I think would have been, like, the thing. Like, I think that could have worked. I know that's not what Oda wanted because we needed the story to go the way Oda needs it to go. Um, but I really think the villagers, like, that would have worked. And it just kind of annoyed me when I was watching. I was like, don't run. Let them hit you. You've never done that before. They'll realize something is wrong. Let them realize that they're hurting you and that you're desperate. I don't know about your opinions on that scene, but when I was watching it, it just hit me like, don't run away. Don't run away. Let them catch you. Like you gotta really make them understand.
I feel like to me it was like the villagers were on their last straw and it was like, all right, we're stopping this now. And it's like I'm pretty sure if Usopp wouldn't have ran at that point, they probably would have just like beat Usopp. Like I feel like at that point it's like they're so annoyed they might not have had mercy.
See,
So
that's
it's like they would just beat him up and then be like, make sure you don't ever do that again. So I think it's probably good that Usopp ran because he probably knew, yeah, they're not going to believe me because of how many times I've done this charade before,
that's
and
an
like they're serious this time.
that's an interesting take on it. I think I'm coming at it with the knowledge of the rest of the episodes, which is something that's unavoidable when you've watched One Piece as much as me. But we do find out very soon in the next few episodes that when Usopp isn't there doing that, they miss him doing it, like, immediately. Cause Usopp, spoilers, Rudy, Usopp joins the Straw Hat crew. I don't know if you knew this,
Well, I don't know
but
if that's really spoilers considering
he's
he's
in opening
basically
theme
with
song.
them
Yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah. But, like, he leaves the island, and we see how the people react to him not being there. They set their clock by him doing that. Like, it is a daily ritual they all look forward to. It's them playing with this orphan they're taking care of. They have to act mad and swing their stuff at him because that's the game, right? Like, they're all in on it. The thing is that, like, maybe
Now you
I think
change
maybe Usopp
opinion.
doesn't understand how much they like it. I think he thinks they're genuinely upset. I think Usopp might think what you think, which I think is very sad for Usopp.
It's like now that you've just said that, it's like, oh, now you've just changed my opinion.
Right? But see, this is the thing, right? Usopp doesn't know that. So I think maybe you're right in a way that that is what Usopp thinks. They're gonna think I crossed the line, and they're not gonna want me
Yeah.
anymore. They're not gonna take care of me anymore. I just have to save Kaya. I have to do the next thing possible. So we see Usopp um run to Kaya. We also cut to Luffy being found by Nami and them, I believe. There's, like, a lot of cutting here where stuff's jumping around in my notes, so I can only imagine there's a lot of cutting jumping around in the episode. I watched episode 11 a few days ago. I watched all the other episodes yesterday on my birthday. So, um,
Oh, happy
11 is the
belated
one I'm
birthday.
weakest. Oh, thank you. 11 is the one I'm the weakest on because I watched it, like, right after our last podcast. But I believe Luffy is just sleeping, and it's another one of Luffy's kind of shticks where, like, it's important for Luffy to be up and doing things, and he's having a nap. Um, Usopp tries to save Kaya, but after he attacked Klahadore and got run out of the manor, he just seems scary to her. Because again, Klahadore is this ultimate butler who's taking care of her after her parents died, and Usopp was so violent and visceral, and he's like kind of unhinged right now because he's desperately trying to save their lives and they're not listening to him. And that,
But it's
oh,
like the
that
villagers think he's gone crazy
that must be the most
because
frustrating feeling fucking imaginable. I would hate that. I would hate that so much. I would lose my goddamn shit if I was telling the truth and no one would believe me. And the more fiercely I told it, the more violently they disbelieved me. So what ends up happening is, he tries to pull Kaya away, gets her out of the window. When Mary shows up, Mary chases him outside. Usopp is trying to tell her that like Klahadore is a bad man. He's going to try and kill her and steal all her money. He's a pirate. He's an evil bastard. And she fucking slaps him across the face.
I
Uh,
will say with the whole Usopp and Kaya thing, like I get Usopp is trying to save all their lives, but when I was watching the episode, I do think Usopp was a little bit too forceful.
you,
So it's like it's understandable why Kaya would slap him.
I think it's mostly just because he's a kid. Like Usopp is like 17. Like
Yeah,
he's
fair
not an
enough.
adult and he hasn't had real parents. Like he's or an education to my understanding. Like he's a wild kid who's like he's like an animal basically. He's just a little bit smarter. Uh and not at the moment. So Kaya hits him and he has this moment of like, "Well, listen, I like you I don't like you have to come." Mary shows up with a gun. Usopp goes to flee because he doesn't want to get fucking shot. And Kaya, to be fair, tries to jump in the way because she doesn't want him to be shot either. She still really likes Usopp, even though she's confused and a bit afraid of him. Mary shoots because he's just a fucking cheap man. He shouldn't have a gun. Who gave this idiot a gun? And he nicks Usopp's arm, which is fucking oof, big oof. Um, and as he sort of runs away, um, we get a flashback to Kaya thinking of the first time Usopp came to her house. And Rudy, I'm not gonna ask you to like cover your ears for this, but it is a little spoilery. When we did our episode 2, I told you that Oda loves to make Usopp a very bad liar. And
Oh yeah, I
one of
remember
the
that.
ways Oda does this is by making whatever Usopp says as a lie come true. So the first lie Usopp ever told Kaya when he was like 5 or some shit, I don't know. Oh no, he said in the lie he was 5 when this happened. Sorry, I remember. Um, that he ended up going into the mouth of a sick whale who had a sore throat, but the whale just thought he was food. And spoilers, there will be a time where he'll go into the mouth of a sick whale to make the whale
Yeah,
better.
you mentioned all that with the goldfish.
Ah, yes, the goldfish happens after the whale, oddly enough. Um, they're very
No,
close to each other chronologically over the course of One Piece. I think it goes
straight
literally
after.
whale, little mini arc, goldfish. Um, so we see Usopp come back, hiding the wound on his arm. Um, the kids think they can help people, and Usopp tells the kids he was lying. To try and make sure the kids don't do anything stupid. And we get this moment where like each of the three kids like tear him down because they're like, we believe, like we respected you, like we understand you tell lies, and sometimes that's cool, but like you were acting like this was real, like to the point where we believed you and not like one of your normal lies. And they like all tear him down, like we thought you were better than this, and he just sort of bears it, like covering the wound on his arm. Um, and eventually they leave. And this is where I teared up a little bit because we get this moment where like Nami is bandaging Usopp's arm and he's crying because it's Usopp and he just says how much he wants to protect this village because he loves it. I'm tearing up right now just talking about it and picturing it because I'm a big soft piece of shit. Um and how he just wants it tomorrow to be another peaceful day for the people in the village. And that's why he lied to the kids. Because he's gonna go to that beach and he's gonna try and stop the pirates and he's gonna do it because he has to. Because it's the only way those people are gonna have another peaceful day. And it's so fucking good. It's so good because it's so Luffy, and it's just Usopp channeling Luffy, and just like, I love these people, and I'll die for them. And he's shaking the whole
And
time he's
it's
doing it because he's pulling a Luffy, but he doesn't have Luffy's raw confidence. He has all of
yeah,
Luffy's resolve. Mm. Please go.
it's
Sorry.
like he's that's all right. Um, it's like when he said oh god, now I forgot. I
I did it.
hate
I
this.
did it.
It'll come back at some point.
All right, while you do that, Noriko, as a big One Piece or as a big Usopp fan specifically, how does this moment feel for you? Because again, this moment almost made me cry. Just talking about it right now almost made me cry. I don't know how you're doing. I don't know if this hit you as big as the Kaya stuff during the fight with Kuro or not. I don't
Episode made me cry.
know. It got me pretty close. Even now, it gets me pretty close. Because it
Mm.
really shows Usopp's character, which is he has no confidence in himself. And I mean, it's not unfounded, his lack of confidence, because he kind of sucks. But he
I
has
think this was
this crazy resolve.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I think I do remember now. Yeah, I think this was the part where I cried almost. Like it was like very small amount, but it's like yeah, it's like it's probably when it's because of the line where Usopp says the pirates aren't coming. I'm gonna make sure it's just a normal day for all the villagers, like every other day, nothing will happen to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I was lying. The pirates won't come. As far as they know, I'll be lying. Like every other day. And that's fantastic. Um, the line by Luffy though does get me because when the three of them, including Nami, because Nami has a soft spot for this kind of person and kids. She just does. And that never goes away. And I think it's a really good part of her character. Um, and he stands up like you realize what you're saying, right? He doesn't quite realize how strong they are yet, because he's never seen them do anything yet. Like you realize what you're saying. Like these aren't just anyone. These are the Black Cat pirates. Like these people, and he's like shivering the whole time he's doing this. He's like, I can't have you come and die just for pity. And there's just this fucking line from Luffy, and it's the last line of the episode. And Luffy just goes, as if I'd risk my life for sympathy. Like, don't fucking insult me. We're doing this because we like your
Or
fucking gusto, kid. We don't feel sorry for you at all. Let's fucking go do this. I was like, Jesus, Luffy, that's so metal as fuck.
it's like I watched episode 12 on like Wednesday and then the rest yesterday. So episode 11 is like the only one I don't have too much good memory of.
Yeah, so that is how the episode ends with Luffy's with again Usopp saying like I can't let you like risk your life and go and die because you feel sorry for me for being so weak. And it like pisses Luffy off. Luffy has one of those moments where he sort of lashes out in anger as if we'd risk our lives for sympathy. And Zoro makes it very clear he's like we're not doing it because we're sorry for you. We're doing it because we like you, kid. Like we like the cut of your jib. We don't care if you're strong enough to pull through with what you're saying. The fact that you mean what you're saying is what matters to us, and it's very good. And that's episode 11. Any thoughts before we move on to episode 12, anyone? I see one head shake. What about you, Noriko? Oh,
Nothing really.
okay. Yeah, I mean, we covered it pretty thoroughly. As much as, like, there were some really good character moments in this episode, not a lot fucking happened. Usopp ran in a straight line, he got shot, and then he ran back in a straight line. Like, I mean, not a lot happened in this episode mechanically.
I'll be I'll be honest, I just wanna I just wanna talk about episode 13, so I can't wait when we get to that conversation and
All right, all
point.
right, all right. I'm liking the hype. I'm liking the hype. So episode 12, which I have titled Slope Time. I love the fucking slope. So we open again with flashbacks, and then we cut to Kuro being fucking evil, um, which is great. Um, where he comes back to the manor late at night. He sees Mary changing the light, and he sees the present for him. And Mary explains what it is for him. It's his custom-made glasses, so they stop sliding down his face. We don't get to see him do his evil shtick on it right away because we cut to Usopp, I think. And what I have titled One Piece Alone, which if you're a Home Alone fan, you'll understand. I don't know, Home Alone might be too old for kids these days. As much as I'm a huge
I
fan
don't
of
know.
it.
I think I watched like the first Home Alone, I think.
I love Home Alone. But we get them like MacGyvering the slope with oil to set up a trap for the pirates, which I just find very funny. And we'll find out later that Usopp has a bunch of caltrops, which will become relevant at some point. Uh,
Sorry. Oh, episode 12 just. Oh my god, you talking about episode 12, like the caltrops and the slope. I'm gonna laugh my head off.
it's very good. So we cut back. Oh no, there is this brilliant moment where they all say what they can do. Like Usopp's like, "All right, what do we got?" And Zoro's like, "I cut," and Luffy's like, "I punch." And Nami's like, "I can steal," and he's like, "I can hide." And all three of them grab him, like, "You'll fight," and it was very funny. It was very much like you're a member of the crew and you'll fucking carry your weight. We don't care if we have to all three of us hold you so you stand still while you do it, but you'll do it. And it was just like, oh, they're a family. Damn it, I care. I found that moment very good. We cut back to Kuro and Mary. Kuro, we see him being like unabashedly evil. He throws her present to the ground and fucking stomps on it with his big dopey ass slippers, which I'll never get over. His big ass clown shoes. His like weird zebra
Man,
print
almost like
clown
you're trying to
shoes.
imitate Buggy.
I don't know. I don't. I think Buggy has regular shoes. Buggy just has like regular like
Wait, real?
shoes. Yeah, because Luffy pulls his foot out of his shoe and tickles it and does all that weird shit to it. Buggy just wears like normal shoes, like normal everyday shoes. This is the fucker with the clown shoes. It's really dumb. Um, I don't understand why he wears these fucking enormous shoes. I just sorry. So Mary loses his shit. Like, why are you doing that? That is your precious gift for you. And then he's like, but you see, I'm going to fucking kill her. And then he whips out his blades, and Mary's like, "Oh my God, no, my lady, run!" And he gets cut. And Kuro does the thing which a lot of One Piece villains do, which is not confirm the kill, which is just they just assume because they've hit someone they've killed them. Which like I will admit I'm not gonna spoil anything specifically here, but one of my favorite characters in One Piece does this 3 times where he believes he's killed someone and just walks away. And I'm like, he's not dead. He's not dead. Stop being stupid. You're smarter than this. Go back and kill him. And we'll talk about that when it happens. But I love that character, but he is so guilty of doing this exact thing because Mary is not dead. He just got cut. Um, we cut to a scene where we see Kuro being super creepy with Kaya and like the blood-soaked blades in her hair, and she's asleep. Um, there is some tension, like maybe he'll abandon his plan and just kill her right now because he's so furious at having been her servant for 3 years. But he doesn't. We see some Django being Django, which is just like his usual creepy shit. I think they wake him up in the morning and they like say Ohio, and he's like Ohio, the moon's up, and he's like in a bad mood, and he chides them for saying Ohio. He's like, you should only say that when the sun is up and it's bright and whatnot, and everyone like apologizes, and then he does a 180, and he's like Ohio, and everyone's like, hey, and I'm like, what the fuck is this bit? It's so dumb. It's
when,
so
when,
One
you- when
Piece.
you say when you say Django, I'm just like, all right. It's like I always remember his catchphrase. He's like, one,
One,
two,
two,
three, Django.
Django. Yeah, he doesn't go away in One Piece, by the way. He'll always be back.
Yay,
Um,
Django is funny.
well, he's a character. We realize rather quickly because the pirates arrive at the coast and they notice the Straw Hat ships. And we have a moment because we, as the audience, knows what's happening before the Straw Hat crew do. but they set up their trap on a different beach because their ships weren't at the beach with the oil. So we have a moment of going, oh, they set up the trap at the wrong beach. And then they find out they set up the trap at the wrong beach. Because Nami hears it with her very keen hearing. So Usopp immediately goes, it's to the north, about 3 minutes if we run. So Luffy runs off, not knowing which way is north, but full of gusto. Uh, Usopp, of course, chases after, assuming Luffy's going the right way, and just starts heading actually north, because he's from here and knows where that is in relation to where he was. And then we get a beautiful moment with Nami and Zoro, and Oda does, like, lampshade this earlier in their conversations, because when they were talking about this happening, like when they were setting up the oil, Zoro literally says, we have to be careful none of us fall down this oil slick, or we'll be just falling into a nest of all the pirates. And Nami is like, oh, none of us will be that stupid. And then Nami and Zoro both fall down the oil slick on their own because they're idiots. Well, to be fair, Nami does, and then drags Zoro down with her to give her a leg up so she can get out of it, which really pisses him off.
And then Zoro's just kicking and screaming like, "Get back here, Nami!"
Which is fan fucking tastic, because she basically just steps on his face to get out of the situation, which, you know, is in character. And I love how upset he gets but never does anything about it. That's also in Zora's character, in my opinion. Uh, so we cut to the Black Cat pirates pushing their way up the actual slope, and they start getting bombarded with little iron pellets, and Usopp is there. Uh, and he's like, "Where did Luffy go? Why did I beat him here? He was going way faster than I was." And we cut to Luffy, who's just running in the woods, going, "Which way is north? Damn it! Why didn't you tell me which way is north?" Which is fantastic. Hold up, I have to change the
Wouldn't
page
it
in my
literally just be
notes.
straight? Wouldn't North literally just be
It's so
straight?
good. We do see another moment where again Usopp is doing his lies. He's trying to talk them out. It says he has 100 million men at his back. I don't know why he can't like lie like a normal person. Uh, and we do see that Django is the only person who believes it, which is very funny. Because remember, Django always hypnotizes himself, and hypnotism is all about belief. So I just like that Usopp's lies work on Luffy and Django, and Django's hypnosis works on Luffy and Django, because they're just the people who believe shit that is happening always, no matter what. Uh, the pirates very clearly tell him that that's a lie, and he snaps out of it. And Usopp immediately goes, "Oh man, he believed me." The pirates discover the Straw Hats' crew's money, about 5 million berries, and Usopp, being the quick thinker that he is, immediately says, "That's my money, and I'll pay you with it to leave." Not realizing he's
Oh,
dealing with pirates. Django immediately goes, "Yeah, but like, I mean, we're just gonna take the money and kill everyone anyways." And Usopp literally
I rem-
goes, "Ah, fair dinkum. That's fair. You got me."
I remember when Usopp said that, I was like, "Oh no, you don't want to do that. Nami is not gonna like
Oh,
that."
that's true. She immediately hits him in the back of the head and slams him to the ground, yelling, "Stop talking nonsense. Stop. Shut your fucking mouth." Um, which is fantastic. Cause she gets very mad. He's like, "What if they just took the money and leave? It'd be fine." And she's like, "That's my money." So that doesn't work. And this is a really great moment because it's Usopp and Nami versus the pirates. Because Zoro is down the oil slick and Luffy is fucking lost. So later, again, I'm not gonna spoil anything specific, but Nami, Usopp, and a third person sort of become known as like the Cowardly Three. Uh, in
Oh no.
relation to Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy being the monster trio, there are three people who form an alliance on the crew who are cowards, basically. And this is very
Oh
much
no.
like the start of that, because we see the two of them like trying constantly to get behind each other and push the other one forward to do things, while they're both competently trying their best. Usopp does get fucking cracked in the head by a hammer, and then we discover Usopp's actual secret ability, which is he can take a fucking beating like it's no one's business. And we are gonna
Wait, what?
see. we are gonna see Usopp take some beatings over the course of this show. We are gonna see
Oh
parts of
yeah.
Usopp break that should not break, and he'll just get back up because he has this inhuman
I
stamina.
thought I thought I thought Usopp was just a normal person, and it was just, oh, anime protagonist plot armor. He just doesn't die.
No, he's just super tanky. He's just really, really. He's got a thick skull. he's just Usopp takes. I mean, he has like yeah. I mean, he's a straw hat, but like Nami doesn't have that. In fact, I'll bring it up later when we get to it, but if Nami starts getting hurt in an episode, that's usually when Oda is trying to show us that shit is serious. Because Nami doesn't get hurt, because Nami doesn't get involved in the fighting. And when Nami gets hurt, shit has gone wrong, or shit is very serious. Nami getting hurt is kind of Oda's red flag for us to pay attention to what's happening. Usopp getting hurt is Oda's flag for us to chuckle a little bit. like he takes a lot of beatings over the course of this show, and some of them are really fucking brutal. Um, of course, Django still tries to push everyone up the hill. We do cut to Zoro using his swords, like stabbing them into the fucking ground to pull his way up the oil slick, cursing Nami the whole way. And right at the end of the episode, Zoro and Luffy beat back all the pirates who had gotten past Nami and Usopp when Usopp got fucking decked in the head with the hammer. Because he still grabbed the guy's leg and tried to hold him. And he, like, kicked him and made him let go. Like, Usopp was doing his part. He's not as strong as the others, but he was doing his part. And then the entire crew gets blasted over his head. And Zoro and Luffy are just there panting, pissed. Zoro like yells at Nami, like, "What did you do?" And she's like, "Well, you got out of it, so it's fine." And Luffy, Luffy looks at Usopp and just like, "Why the fuck didn't you tell me which way was north?" and he's so mad at Usopp for not telling him which way was north. And Usopp is just like, "I thought you knew because of how you ran." He's like, "Well, listen, I ran because I was excited. That doesn't mean I know what I'm doing." It was very good. It was very peak Luffy. To just admit his own stupidity and still be mad at someone else for it, which is just great. And that's actually the almost the end of the episode. We end the episode with it cutting back to the village, and us seeing Kuro sitting on the steps to the mansion, with a little bag beside him with his swords in it, absolutely losing his shit because everyone is late and they're fucking up his plan. So he starts making his way towards the coast.
And it's because they're held up by the Straw Hat Pirates.
Those darn meddling kids.
Man, reminds me of Scooby Doo.
Yep, pretty much. And that's episode 12. Anything else you wanted to cover in that episode? Anything that stood out that I might have missed?
No.
No, I think we did a good job covering that
Oh,
episode. It was a bit more exciting, a lot more slapstick, which is nice, and we really get to see like Usopp do some fighting, which is neat because we don't always get to see that until later in the series. Um,
a slingshot.
what was that, Rudy?
I said yay slingshot.
Yes, his slingshot evolves a lot over the course of this series, and he does some real bullshit with it. Post time skip, you might as well not even think of it as a slingshot anymore, so much as a living thing. It's very weird. Uh,
Oh.
but we'll get to that in like 600 episodes. Don't worry about it.
What?
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll get there. Like 600 episodes, no problem. Like 300 weeks or something. No, like 100 weeks. I don't know. We'll get there. Don't worry about it. I can't do math. Remember, I have a degree that says I can't.
100 times 5 is so in 100 weeks that would be 500 episodes. So
That can't
yeah,
be
it would
right.
take us 4 years, probably 4.5 to finish all of One Piece.
We'll do it. I mean, by then there'll be like another 200 episodes though. Because it's the gift that
That's why I
just keeps
said
on
four
giving.
and a half.
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So episode 13. We open with Usopp realizing Luffy and Zoro are strong. And immediately we get a sort of repeat of what I've written down as Luffy's indignant rage. at Usopp for not explaining to him which way north is. Um, we get Django hypnotizing the crew to make them stronger. We get we get Nami dropping a Baka Mitai when she realizes that Luffy has gotten hypnotized, or when the crew gets hypnotized. She sort of says like, "How are they so simple?" But she's like, in
Wait,
Japanese, she says Baka Mitai.
I just remembered something from episode 12.
Ooh, what?
We forgot about the part where we forgot about the part. I just completely missed this because I saw it on the thing. Oh wait, no, sorry, no, I'm going ahead of myself. No, we're on episode 13. That's my fault. No,
Okay.
that's my fault.
Okay. I was like, what did I miss? Um,
No, you didn't miss anything. That's me. That's me.
so we get the first instance of Super Luffy, which is a sort of recurring thing in One Piece, where Luffy gets sort of jacked up on one of the enemy's techniques. This will happen again later, several times.
I think
But
episode 13.
but
I think
yeah,
episode 13 was my favorite so far.
it's pretty good. We get Luffy growling. Luffy's VA growling is kind of hot because it sounds like
What?
a fucking little puppy. This is. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Luffy? You fucking doped out shithead. Like, and that like,
It's just like a monster. He just like stomps over to the boat.
oh, that happens later, but yes, that's great. Him going
Oh,
to the boat is fantastic. First, we get the first Gum Gum Gatling gun, the first Gatling gun in all of One Piece. And at first, like a moment of me, I was like, was he only able to do that because he was righted up? And then later he's like, oh, I can just do that. Sweet. Um, so he beats back the entire hypnotized crew with his Gatling gun, and then charges down the slope, running past all of them to the ship, and begins trying to pick it the fuck up. And it's a big
I
boat.
just realized when you said Gatling gun, my mind was like, where did Luffy get a gun from? But then I remembered, oh yeah, gun powers,
Yeah,
not an
that's the name
actual
of that attack.
Gatling gun.
And it is a staple. It becomes a mainstay of Luffy whenever he needs to deal with a bunch of enemies or really try and hit one opponent to make that opponent seem strong. It shows how they are immune to the Gatling gun, in whatever way they are. So, just to say, if this was current age Luffy, he'd just pick this ship up. By the way, like, like seeing
Yeah,
Luffy attempt to lift this ship up and fail, I was like, oh yeah, Luffy's a little baby right now. He's such a little piece of
then
shit.
it's funny. Instead of the whole ship, he just like pulls the front of it with the cat
He
head on
does.
it.
He does rip the figurehead of the ship completely off.
And then
To use
everyone's
as a
just
baseball
freaking
bat.
out. And everyone else just freaking out on the floor. It's like,
It's
oh my god,
fantastic.
we're gonna die.
And Django very quickly hypnotizes Luffy to go to sleep, which drops the figurehead onto the crew and Luffy, but Luffy's made of rubber. He doesn't give a fuck. He just goes to sleep
And
because
he
again,
just
Luffy's asleep. Um, we see the Usopp Pirates, which I've written down as the Usopp Pirates getting into trouble. If you remember the old getting into trouble ads, for the board
oh
game
boy.
Trouble. It's fun getting into trouble. Cause they're like, we saw Clawdor heading to the beach where Usopp said the pirates would be. Let's go follow them. And I'm like, or you could not. Like you could do a smart thing. Or they're like, let's go check on the house. Kaya finds Mary. We find out that Mary again was not killed because Kuro has bad OPSEC, basically. Like he just didn't kill him. Fuck, he's so stupid. I hate when villains do this. Like it's like something that triggers me because again, one of my favorite One Piece characters is super guilty of doing it, and I hate it. Um, Mary tells Kaya the truth. She doesn't want to believe it. Um, but he convinces her that yes, he's a pirate, he's evil, he's going to try and kill her. And he convinces her that she has the power to put an end to the assault of the pirates. If she just gives Clawhador all her money and her mansion, he'll call it all off. Because Mary is a fucking idiot. I was like, no, no, he wants to kill her. The money is a perk. like, Mary, you
Yeah,
idiot.
it's like the main goal is to make it look like an accident, so he just inherits all the money and stuff and lives a quiet life in the mansion trying to be Yoshikage Kira, except without the hands.
It's really fucking just like Mary being really, really, really stupid. The pirates then see, or the Usopp pirates, sorry, see Kaya leaving on her own and decide to follow her. Then we get introduced to the Meow Bran brothers, the Meowbon brothers,
This is why I love this episode, the Meow Brothers.
who play Weak Kitty or whatever the fuck they call it. I didn't write down the name of their technique. Where they pretend to be extremely weak and cowardly until the moment they're about to attack someone. For the first time. Which almost catches Zoro off guard, except for the fact that Zoro's really fucking tough. However, as he blocks Siam, I think is the thin cat's name, he
It's like they're
very,
like
very
it's
smoothly
weird.
steals both of Zoro's swords, which we see on his back before it's like referenced that he's stolen the swords. Because as he jumps away, you just notice he has the Wado Ichimonji on his fucking back. We haven't learned the name of Zoro's sword. I think we learned the name later. But the white sword he has is called the Wado. It's very important. And this cat just fucking stole it from him. And if this happened now, this cat would be dead. like, dead. Zoro doesn't handle people taking that sword very well. Um, so they steal the sword away from him, and it's Zoro suddenly being forced to fight one sword style, which he admits to not
Yeah,
being very good at, which
yeah, and then the
seems like an
enemies are like,
oversight for the world's greatest swordsman to not be able to fight with
yeah,
a
and then
single sword.
and then the enemies are like, oh, you don't need three swords. Why do you need three swords for?
Well, true, because it's another thing where most enemies are like, "Why do you have three swords, you weirdo? Just fight me." And he's like, "No, no, no. I really spent a lot of time learning how to fight with three, though." He gets better at using one sword, later. Um, I wrote down that a James Bond happens, where basically
What?
like because I've recently so speaking of rewatches, I recently rewatched every Bond movie up until the newest release. Uh, because there's a rewatch podcast I watch about James Bond, and I was really vibing with it, and I wanted to watch the movies again. But basically, Usopp tries to fire into combat, and Zoro takes the hit on his back in the middle of the fight. Um, which in one of the more recent Daniel Craig Bond films, one of Bond's allies shoots into a melee and hits Bond. It's a little different because Zoro moves into the hit, because basically Zoro is pretty sure that right now he can't fight these two things and defend Usopp and Nami with just one sword. And he figured that if Usopp actually hit one of them, they'd notice he's there and jump away from the fight, leaving Zoro tied up with one of them while the other one just goes to kill him. And Nami's like, he just saved our ass. What are you doing? Don't shoot him. um, and this is where we get what I mentioned in the last episode recap, like episode 12. Nami sees Zoro's swords that have been tossed down to the ground, realizes that Zoro is way stronger than these idiots as long as he has his actual swords, runs down to get them for her, and fucking Django's like, I'm not just gonna let you do things. Like, what are you, an idiot? And fucking cuts her with his chakram. And we see Nami go down and start bleeding a lot. And again, Oda doesn't normally show Nami getting bloodied unless shit is serious some way. So when that happens, I perk up because it's like, which is a weird thing to say about watching a woman get hurt. Uh, but it's just like it's like one of those story cues to be like, oh shit, Oda's trying to really get it across to me that these people are gonna fucking kill people if we fuck up. All right, this is great. Nami is dripping blood. This is awesome. Um, which is great because that's something that doesn't normally happen in One Piece. Because again, the
Oh,
background crew tend to not get hurt unless it's very important. And I think that's actually the end of the episode. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there was some animation with the Meow Brand brothers that kind of ran out a bit longer than it probably should have.
What about the part where what about the part where uh no, it's the part where Nami, when she goes over to Luffy and
That's
Luffy
next episode.
catches the disc. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, not a lot. Episode 13 is great. We get to see the Meow Brand brothers. We get to see their whole skit. We get the beautiful Zoro swords getting stolen and us seeing it happen before he realizes it happens. And that's the kind of visual storytelling I fucking love. Because we see it happen. We know he has Zoro's sword on his back because we've seen Zoro with that sword in every episode. But Zoro hasn't clued in yet till he notices it on his back and goes, "Wait a minute, that's my sword," and that's great. But yeah,
I
that.
think
Go ahead.
sorry. I think it's funny when the Meowben brothers attack because they're always like, check, 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 check.
Yeah, they do a lot of cat things. It's very weird. These people have a fetish. We get a lot later on in One Piece story. We get a lot more just pirates being sort of like pirates, which is, I mean, they all still have like crazy gimmicks, but and I mean there are still a few like Meow Brand style brothers running around, but like we also get more people who are like their gimmick is a lot more just less embarrassing. I guess would be the word for it. But that takes us to episode 14, which starts right off with Kuro showing up, and being
Oh
fucking
no.
pissed. Uh, of course, Shiam and Bachi immediately are like, "Hey, you
Oh
fucker!
yeah,
You
Butchie.
abandoned Butchie. You abandoned us 3 years ago. We've spent 3 years getting stronger and stronger when you've spent 3 years sitting around being a fucking useless bitch. You know what? Django's
Oh
been a good
no.
captain to us for 3 years. You're not our captain anymore. We're gonna fucking kill you." And he shows them that they are in fact not strong enough to do that because yes, he's sluggish, but he's still better than they are. Because he does his pussyfoot technique, which I wrote down the pussyfoot lull in my notes. Um,
Wrote down pussyfoot maneuver.
the goddamn pussyfoot maneuver. However, uh, again, I won't spoil things specific, or at least not in a way that would ruin anything. But later on in the story, we learn of a technique called Soru. Uh, and fucking little piece of shit Captain Kuro is very close to achieving it. In fact, him
Now I
doing
want to
it
know what this is.
and Luffy watching it allows Luffy to learn the real technique later.
Now I
Which
want
is
to know what this
really cool. And
is.
I think we actually, around episode 320, will get a flashback to this moment of Kuro's feet pussyfooting around. And it'll be when Luffy's like, "Oh, see, I noticed you were doing this thing like this one guy was doing, and then I tried doing it, and I'm better than both of you at it." And I went, "Fucking, that is so Luffy." um, but this is Oda like setting the fucking breadcrumbs of future powers that are like, oh, there are people out there who do this, but so much better because this is the East Blue and people are weak here. Like Kuro is fast, but we'll find out in episode 16 because we haven't hit it yet. I don't think. But there's a huge downside when he really uses this technique. Um,
It's like I thought because the fights drag on for like 8 episodes per like boss, and it's like I thought they'd be pretty strong if it's dragging on for like 6 to 8 episodes.
well, no, a lot of it early on is animation or cutting to side plots. Like a lot of it is just there's a lot happening. So a lot of stuff gets cut. Sometimes a long fight is because an enemy is very strong. Or Luffy is just comparatively weak. Now, at the moment, Luffy isn't weaker than Kuro, I would say. Even though Kuro can do this crazy advanced technique, which is almost superhuman. Like, Kuro has almost tapped into something that, like, we find out a bit later as being, like, one of the things that, like, superhumans can learn to do. Like, he's almost there, but he's not quite good enough yet. Um, so Kuro quickly overpowers the Meow brothers, um, and tells them he'll give them 5 fucking minutes. We haven't gotten to the point where Kuro tells them his whole plan yet. But I mean, I'll just tell you, he still fully intends to kill all of the Black Cat pirates. And he makes it
Well,
very
this is the
clear, I
part.
think next episode, where he's like, "No, you don't understand. I'm going to kill all of you. I'm just using you to do this part of the plan, and then your part in the plan will be to die, right? Like, you understand that, right?" And everyone's like, "What? You're
Yeah.
gonna kill us?" And he's like, "Well, yeah, that was the plan."
Isn't this like the part where Janko uses hypnosis to make Butchie really, really strong?
Not quite yet. Almost. First, Zoro has
Oh.
to cut them down. Because Nami picks herself up and rushes past uh, Django. Though she makes it like in the end, it's animated like she just fucking walks past him and he doesn't stop her this time. And I don't know why. Like, he stopped her the first time, but now he's like just distracted by nothing. Which is actually a thing with his character, that he just sort of starts gawking at things. And it comes up that he does that a lot, which pisses Kuro off. She kicks Zoro his swords, to which he gets very mad, and because he just kicked his fucking beloved, treasured heirloom sword at him. And she's like, "Where's my thank you?" And he's like, "All right, thank you." Takes out the swords. We get the first introduction to one of Zoro's moves, the Tiger Trap, which he immediately cuts down those two people, like instantly. Um, And then I wrote down that God Three Sword style is dumb because Zoro's moves just look really stupid a lot of the time. I think it was one where he like threw the Watto in the air and he like said something and then caught it in his mouth, and the animation and the way it looked was just in my head really stupid. I was like, man, God, Zoro looks so dumb doing this. I don't know if either of you have ever put an actual katana in your mouth, but I have. That doesn't work. Like,
Why would you
those
do
Wait,
that?
because I mean I've
you
been
put a
watching.
katana in your mouth?
Yeah, because I mean I grew up watching Zoro and I owned a katana, so why wouldn't I do that? Those things weigh
I
like
feel like that's just really
eight
strange to
pounds.
do.
Do you know how hard it is to hold 8 pounds in your mouth? It's really hard. It hurts. Like, Zoro's whole fighting style is completely stupid and it looks dumb. I love him, but God, it's so dumb. Um, I think we do this moment here uh, where Zoro throws his swords into the air after he cuts down Siam and Butchie and catches them in their scabbards, which is also foreshadowing to something Zoro will do in like 20 episodes, 30 episodes in this arc, uh, where he just recklessly throws a bunch of swords into the air and then catches them like it's fucking nothing. And I'm just like, God damn it, you're being
Ah,
so
yes.
reckless and dumb.
Cue the clown music and the juggling because Zoro's about to juggle his swords.
He does do that. Nami decides to push past Django again to go to Luffy, and Django's like, "No, no, stop it! You just fucked up two of my guys doing that. I should have stopped you the first time." So he goes to throw his chakram at her as she steps on Luffy's face. Now I originally misremembered this because I thought just stepping on Luffy's rubber face causes her to like slide, like she steps on him and he goes flat, kind of deal. But no, he actually pulls her down out of the way. And gets mad that she stepped on his face. But he pulls her out of the way of the chakram, and then we see it hit him right in the fucking head as Django yells out, "Be cut in half!" Uh, to which we then cut around to the front of Luffy, and he's fucking cut the chakram with his teeth and breaks it. Because it's Luffy. And then laments because it cut the edge of his mouth very thinly, and it hurts. Which is great. He basically gave himself a paper cut on the corner of his mouth on both sides. That would fucking be a nightmare. Just that might be the
Yeah,
worst
God.
injury ever received in One Piece.
Imagine salt and vinegar. Oh no,
Yeah,
that would
right? Like
sting.
it's the most realistic injury I think I've ever seen in this anime, where it's just like, oh god, no, a fate worse than death. To just ever so slightly slit the sides of your mouth open. Oh my god, that would never heal. Um, So let me take a quick look here at what happens next. Nami basically passes out looking like a crackhead because she's hurt and lost a bit of blood. And like the animation on her face makes her look like she's a stringed out crackhead. Which is great.
Not think that.
It's great. She looks awful. And she tells him to go beat these guys, and he's like, "Yeah, of course." And she's like, "For the treasure." And he's like, "I mean, it'll work out." And he just walks past her.
You
Which is
saying
great.
Nami looks awful and saying it's great is like
It is. I love when we
it's like
get to see them.
imagine just out of context. Oh no.
The highlight reel. My one true love.
God, the highlight reel. I'm waiting when we mention the just mention the Zoro with the juggling sword. Just imagine Zoro juggling the sword to the clown piece.
So next we get a long 2D shot of the slope, starting with Kuro, pulling past Zoro, the Meowben brothers, Django, and then finishing on Luffy. That looks really weird. Like it looks like it's from a different show or a video game. Like it looks weird.
Looks so bad.
It does look very bad.
There is a One Piece video game. Maybe it's from that.
There are many One Piece video games. Um, but
I
yes,
know. I saw it go on sale on Steam the other day.
from my understanding, some of them are actually quite playable. One of my roommate before moving to Japan had 100%ed one of them. She was really into it. Uh,
Wow.
but yeah, it's just this really weird shot, and then we find out Kuro's ultimate desire, which is peace. Uh, by
Yes.
killing Kaya, inheriting her will, killing most of the villagers, if not all of them. Because I mean, new villagers will show up, and he can earn their trust because they're just sheep to him. They're not real things. They're not people. So he's going to have the village be slaughtered, Kaya murdered, and then kill all the pirates himself, so that Kuro is good and dead as a name, and he can just live out the rest of his days as the master of his own domain peacefully. And I just wrote down, he's fucked. He's fucked.
Ba-
Um,
basically, sort of Yoshikage Kira vibes before he went and found Jules Gate.
it's it's kind of fucked. Um, so Kaya shows up right around now, or at this point, Kaya shows up. Sorry, she shows up, tries to make the deal with Kuro. We find out Kuro's ultimate plan and how it's not about the money. You need to die for my dream plan to exist. I don't want to take the money and run. Like, I don't want any question of why I have it. I want you to die, and I want it to all be left to me. And she realizes that, like, oh, I'm fucked. Now, while he's having this conversation, we get again some more very good visual storytelling. We cut to Luffy's face, and he doesn't say anything, but we see Luffy get mad. And Luffy's really good at expressing emotions, but very rarely do we see Luffy mad unless there's a reason. And especially a silent rage. Because Luffy isn't screaming as to why he's mad right now. But we just see that something Kuro has said has triggered him. Um, Kaya pulls a gun on Kuro. He shows her how that's not gonna fucking work, because she's an idiot. He gets the gun away from her. Uh, Usopp picks up the gun in a moment of attempting to do something. Does shoot Kuro because he's ready to kill this fucker. Kuro does the pussyfoot maneuver
Whoosh.
to get behind him. And then we get one of the best pieces of animation in this arc where Luffy hits him in the fucking face, and his face warps like a
Boom.
goddamn toy.
Oh no! And then he falls down.
Yep.
And he falls down, and then the little Usopp pirates come and just beat his
They
face in.
run out and start beating the shit out of his face. That's right. Which is fantastic. Uh, but I think that might actually happen at the start of the next episode.
Well,
Because at the end of this episode, Luffy punches him, and then there's just this really bad shit animation where it like zooms in on a still image of Luffy, and he's just talking. But it's like a still picture, like a PNG of Luffy, and it's just zooming in on him to give you the illusion of movement. Which happens a lot in early One Piece. Like I don't know if everyone is noticing like I am, but like a lot of these scenes like don't have backgrounds or they're just a PNG that's being zoomed in on to give the illusion of movement while dialogue happens. And it's pretty endemic
There's
of the start of One Piece being 20 years old at this point and just them having a really tiny budget in the 90s. Like, but it does make suggesting to a friend that they try One Piece difficult because the first 100 episodes are like once you get past the first like 4 years, like once you get past like the first 100 episodes, like the animation gets so much better. It's like once you commit this much, it gets really good, I promise. The story's good the whole time, but the animation gets way better. Um
I feel like if it takes 100 episodes to be like, oh yeah, it gets good in 100 episodes. It's like, no, I'm not gonna watch this.
to
Screw
be
your 100
fair,
episodes.
it's good all the time. The animation gets better. I think it gets better around episode 60. At the end of the East Blue
Um,
arc, which is like around
basic,
episode 60.
basically season 2.
Yeah, it gets much better. And the animation will change a lot over the course of the show. Um, but let's move on to episode 15, our last episode of the night, because we've
Mm,
already been going for an hour. Why not? Uh, we open with Kuro getting hit again, which always feels good, and then the kids run out. I've just written down Nami's priorities, which is to get the treasure, and then the fucking kids is my note, because they run out with a. And to be fair, I think Kuro would probably die here in real life, because we haven't seen any reason that Kuro is like super durable or immune to damage. Up until Luffy hitting him, we've never seen him get hit, except by Usopp, and he seemed to take that on the chin like it hurt. And they beat him about the head and face. Doesn't stop him. The kids pull back,
like,
thinking they've given him
it's
what
like,
for.
it's like his glasses are broken as well. So it's like, yeah, we did a good job,
Oh,
guys.
there's actually a great moment with that where he stands up and goes to adjust his glasses, and the glass just shatters out of the frames. He
Yeah,
stands up like straight backed, goes to adjust his glasses, and as he touches it, the glass in the frames just shatters, and they're just empty frames now. And it's like, oh, you fucked up. That I wrote that down because that's a good moment.
it's like puts his gloves on. You can see like the katana blades coming out of his glove nails hands.
Yeah.
This man is ready to kill.
So we get one of the moments, which is pretty good, um, emotionally for Usopp. Butchie ties up Zoro because he's hyper roided. Django goes to chase Kaya to get the will to hypnotize her to make the will if she won't do it on her own. Zoro's tied up and Usopp is just beat on the ground and can barely move. And we see Usopp yell for the Usopp pirates to protect Kaya as the most important order. And that's pretty good. That's a good moment because Usopp is like barely holding it together, and he's just trying to protect these people who shouldn't be here as best as he can. And the only way he could do that is to tell them to run away while he's still there. And that's good. That is good Usopp moment. That is great. Chef kiss. Doesn't make me cry, but it's very good. I don't know if anyone else enjoyed that moment as much as I did, but I do love Usopp in this episode. He's very good. I think they waste a little too much screen time on him, but he's very good. Yeah. So Zoro cuts down Butchie, and Luffy is still sort of ominously pissed. Um, this is where we see Zoro sheath his sword. Sorry, this is where Zoro throws the fucking swords into the airs. Um, which is fucking great. And then I wrote down the Usopp. What did I write down? Oh my god. I don't even know what I wrote down. My writing is so bad. I believe at this point we see Usopp try to get up to go after Kaya and protect her from Django. But that doesn't quite work. Because he's beat the fuck up. We get a lot of crazy animation of Kuro's face while he's talking here. I don't know if anyone else noticed the animation on his face, but it is fucking wild in some of these bits. Like, whoever was
Oh,
animating Kuro's face was like, I'm gonna fucking just chew the food of this so much. They're like, make him look a little unhinged. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make him look like Jim Carrey all the time, all the time, which is great because he looks like an animated Jim Carrey. He's wild. His face does a lot of weird shit. We see Zoro pick up Usopp and Luffy getting more and more upset. He's still super pissed. Kuro seems to be underestimating the boy. He tries to stop Zoro, like, I didn't say you could leave. And then Luffy's like, I did, and fucking intervenes. He's like, no, you didn't say they could leave. I did. I'm gonna fucking make sure you know it. We see the Gum Gum Spear. Um, and we have this beautiful moment where they're sort of exchanging blows a little bit. They're testing each other. Zoro gets away. And Kuro's like, I don't understand why you're fighting for these people that you know nothing about. You're a pirate, right? And Luffy just explains, like, there's at least one person on this island I don't want to die. And he means Usopp. He's like, basically, he doesn't say Usopp's name, but he basically says, I don't want Usopp to die. So, yeah, this is what's happening. And we have this moment where Kuro asks the question, are you fine dying for that? And Luffy says, yes, but I won't die to you. And then proceeds to beat the shit out of him. And it's so good.
Boom.
Oh, it's so good. It's a mic drop moment. He's like, are you fine dying for that? Dying to protect Usopp? Absolutely. But I don't see anyone here who's gonna kill me. It's just like, oh,
And
fuck.
like,
Fuck Luffy. It's so good.
and it's like all the dodges and then the punches. It's just like,
It's very good. And we do get a classic One Piece moment where Kuro jumps onto Luffy's arm. Like, this is like classic early One Piece. This image is stuck in my head forever of him landing on Luffy's arm while he's fighting him. And it's like, oh yeah, he's very fast. Um, and him and Luffy are fighting and battling each other, but then we get the flashback. And this was something I really wanted to talk about a few episodes ago. When we were doing Axeham Morgan at the start of the series. So,
oh yeah.
basically, we discover 3 years ago, Kuro, tired of being constantly hunted by Marines and other pirates looking to make a name for themselves, tired of having to constantly defend himself on the seas as a pirate, decides he has to die. So he sails out to a Navy ship that's attacking them, does his pussyfoot maneuver, and kills everyone but one person. They grab a look-alike from their crew, which is fucking morbid as
Oh,
shit.
this is scummy. Oh,
It's
this
so scummy.
scummiest thing.
And like, if Luffy found out that he just like willingly executed one of his own crew to pretend it was him getting killed, Luffy would absolutely kill this man faster. Because it is like, we find out later in One Piece that like most pirate crews are pretty scummy, but for the most part, many of them uphold the
I mean,
"don't fucking kill your crewmates" line. Uh, this
I
doesn't
mean,
work.
Buggy was cool.
Buggy,
Buggy was nice.
Buggy, Buggy threatened killing a few of them, but we never actually saw him do it. Um,
Yeah.
so what happens is Kuro basically has their crew come up. There is one spared Marine who looks kind of familiar. With his blonde hair and big frame. Kuro then breaks his fucking jaw with his foot, and we get images of this Navy captain with a metal jaw. And then he cuts off his fucking arm. And it's like,
Wait. Oh my
yeah,
god, I didn't notice
you
that.
didn't notice? This is Morgan. This is Axeham Morgan. This is the
I
whole
just thought it
thing.
was some random. I just thought it was some random
Okay, I'm about to
dude.
blow your fucking mind. So this is Axeham Morgan, the villain from the first little bit of Zoro's arc. So what happened to Morgan is he was a strong-willed, good Marine. Like, everything I could see diving into the wiki and history of the characters, that he was just a hard-working, physically strong Marine. Low-ranked nobody, like a petty officer. Kuro killed his entire ship, cut off his arm, broke his jaw, and then hypnotized him to believe he was the person who took down Captain Kuro. And
Oh.
hypnotized the other guy into thinking that he was Captain Kuro, but whatever. That guy,
So then
sadly,
this.
is not as important. But yes, basically, I want to posit that this really fucked Morgan up for the rest of his life.
So this links all the way back to that, and then that was how he's gotten like promoted to being the captain. Oh my god.
Well, apparently not directly. So apparently there is some other stuff that isn't like discussed anywheres except maybe like in a novel or something. Um, so Morgan turns over Kuro. That fake Kuro gets fucking executed. Uh, Morgan gets promoted, but not to captain. But he gets his arm, he gets the axe hand, he gets a metal jaw to replace his broken jaw, like the metal brace that he had in his episodes. And he becomes so obsessed with the persona that he is the man who captured Captain Claw. Like he Captain Kuro. I'm sorry. I think in the Four Kids Dub they just call him Captain Claw. So in my head
Why would they?
he's because
Why would?
he's
Why?
Kuro sounds like claw, even though it means black. And Four Kids
I
doesn't
know.
care
It's
about
like, why
translating.
would you call it claw?
Well, because he's a cat with the claws. He's Captain Claw. That's his whole shtick. So in my head, I'm pretty sure I just used the Four Kids dub, which is just Claw always. Because again, that was my first introduction to One Piece. So that for some reason
Wait,
that stuck. So anytime I call him Captain Claw, just ignore me. I know his name is Kuro. I'm an idiot.
now I'm curious. What did they do to his sword fingers in
They're the
the
same.
Four
They're
Kids?
just absolutely the
Wait,
same.
really?
Yeah, they're not
I thought
guns,
because
so
they
that's fine.
I thought because I heard of like the Sanji cigarette to lollipop, I thought they would have
No,
made I thought they would have made the
it's it's
swords like
it's
balloons or something.
it's drugs, alcohol, and guns they fuck with, and that's about it. And dynamite. They're totally
Right,
fine with
okay.
swords. Yeah. In fact, one character later in the series pulls out a string of dynamite, but in the Four Kids dub, he's just holding a sword. Like, in one of the arcs later, a character is about to kill himself and pulls out a string of dynamite, but in the Four Kids dub, he just pulls out a sword. He's like, "We'll go fight him," and I'm like, "In the actual, you're about to kill yourself and blow everyone up with you." But that's getting far ahead. So we see, and so this is just this moment I have with Morgan because apparently he didn't get immediately promoted to captain, but the idea that was hypnotized into his head that he was this great person who took down this monster like became his obsession and he became obsessed with being promoted to captain. But I still think it fucked up the person who he was for the rest of his life. Like, I don't think he was that person. I don't think before this incident, Axehand Morgan would have ever become as evil as he was when we meet him. I think this event set him off on a downward spiral of acquiring power because he realized through this hypnosis that he was better than other people. And it's kind of fucked, and it's just one of those things that when I realized what was happening, I was like, wow, fuck Oda, damn it. I don't feel pity for Morgan because he's a real shitbag. And we've seen that Django's hypnosis isn't that amazing. Like you can definitely snap out of it, but like kind of sucks that Morgan never did. Because we do see in this scene that Django also hypnotized himself to believe he's the person who killed Captain Kuro. Eh, which is fantastic. He's like, I'm the one who took down Captain Kuro. Ha ha! And everyone's like, stop it, Captain. Um, which is fantastic. We cut out of the flashbacks. Uh, Kuro is doing some absolute fight. In my notes, I just wrote like Kuro does a murdering, kills a crewmate, fucks up Morgan with hypnosis, breaks his jaw, cuts off his arm, hypnotizes him, brainwashes him. Reveals the big finish that his plan is to ultimate abandon the name, that he was tired of being Captain Kuro, that he didn't want to be that. That wasn't a life he wanted ever. He just took it because it was easy, basically. And when it stopped being easy, he decided to discard it. Um, Him and Luffy do some fights. We have this amazing scene where Luffy is again getting more and more pissed, where he throws a massive boulder that he'd thrown earlier when the crew were making fun of Usopp for crying and trying his hardest. Because he throws a boulder at the Black Cat crew and says, "What's fucking funny?" And they all shut the fuck up because Luffy isn't having any of their shit. He picks that boulder up and throws it in front of Kuro, who stabs it with his dagger, his knives, his knife hands, and Luffy fucking snaps 5 of them. He just fucking breaks his claws and then bashes him in the head with it. Um, because Luffy is pissed. He is fully gotten the measure of Kuro, and he says, "My ambition is greater than yours." And if that is not Luffy's superpower, I don't know what is. Because very much a lot of the time, Luffy wins a fight because he wants to win more than the other person does. Um, and this was a great episode. This was. I mean, the flashback was great. Tying it into Morgan was great. Oh fuck! It blew my mind when I was a kid and saw that happening. I'm like, oh my god, that's why Morgan was evil. He was hypnotized into thinking he was this crazy pirate catcher, and just he went mad with power because he was hypnotized and brainwashed and had his body fucking mutilated. Holy shit! This is metal as fuck. But yeah, that was episode 15. Any comments or anything else?
You forgot to mention the most iconic scene.
Well, I
The
probably did.
kudos dance.
Yes. He does pull some JoJo level shit in this episode. Kuro's animation,
Yeah, totally.
all of Kuro's animation is so JoJo. That's what it is. That's
Talking
what it
about
is.
JoJo, it's like if I can make a JoJo reference, I will.
Which is weird because Oda's usually more of a Naruto referencing kind of guy. Cause I don't know if you know this, Rudy. I don't know your relationship with Naruto.
I've
Uh,
not watched it at all.
well, all right. After One Piece, we'll do the Naruto rewatch podcast.
Oh
Uh,
god.
because I've seen all of it many times, like One Piece. Naruto and One Piece were like some of the biggest rivals in manga history, basically. But the creators, again, they both worked at the same company. They both worked for Shonen Jump. The creators are canonically, like in real life, absolute fans of each other. Like they just love each other's works. They love each other's stories. You can Google and find art of like Naruto's author drawing Luffy as a ninja, and you can find art of Oda drawing Naruto as a pirate. Like they just do that shit with each other's characters all the time. They just love each other. And they were like the biggest manga rivals in living memory. Because it was literally like for the longest time Naruto and One Piece, what will be the biggest manga ever. And One Piece won. But, whatever. Uh but they're extremely good friends. So usually you see a lot more Naruto references in One Piece instead of JoJo. But god, the animation for Kuro definitely feels JoJo now that you've brought it up. Like fuck me. He's so JoJo. His face. Oh. I can almost see him doing the cherry thing with his fucking tongue. Just like
Oh no.
it's just like oh.
Wait. What? I didn't remind me, but I did not pay any attention to Kudo's tongue
No,
whatsoever.
I'm just saying he could. I could see it
Oh.
happening, not that I did see it happening.
Oh.
This came out possibly before that scene, because that scene was like in part 3 of JoJo's, and I don't know when part 3 of JoJo happened in
It
relation to One
depends.
Piece.
Jojo is fucking old.
Yeah, but I
It
mean
would
we're
be
still
like
talking
the
about part
Like
manga.
3, so
80s
like
old.
Yeah, because like JoJo, I think,
yeah, but
unless
I
I
think part 1
am
and 2 are like 80s and
like,
early 90s old, and I think part 3 was later
let me have a
90s.
look.
I have no idea.
No, part 3 came out before One Piece, I think.
Oh, well then never mind. He could totally have done the tongue thing. He didn't, thankfully. Thank you, Oda. I didn't need to see Kuro's weird tongue any more than you show me.
1987 for part one of JoJo.
Part 1. Oh, we're
Yeah.
talking part 3. Stardust
Oh,
Crusaders or
part
whatever the fuck it's
three. I was
about.
just thinking, like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, part 3
That'd be
was
Stardust Crusaders.
1989 to 92.
Okay. Yeah, then that's still way before. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
1989.
forget how short parts 1 and 2 of JoJo are. I've never read JoJo, I've just watched the anime. And I'm fine
Part
with
one.
that, because
Part
I
one
am
is
not a
like
diehard.
3 volumes.
I am not a diehard JoJo fan, and I've watched a lot of JoJo and went, you know what, this is okay. I don't, I don't, I'm not killing myself to see more of it, but it's all right.
Yeah, part one of JoJo is so short. I think it's 3 volumes.
Yeah, but
It's
That's how
just
this,
9
short it is.
episodes.
this isn't a JoJo's rewatch podcast.
We should do that
And we,
too.
oh god, no, because I can't.
I am down
It's
to rewatch JoJo.
maybe, maybe, maybe later. We have a lot of One Piece to do. Okay, like all these, we still have the movies. We were only 15 episodes in.
Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, the movies.
There's by the time we get there, will be like 16 movies. I think there's
Yeah, I
already
feel
like
like
14.
it's gonna take 5 years.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got time to spare. But yeah,
Same.
that is the next 5 episodes of One Piece, episode 11 through 15. We'll be back next
Nice.
week with episodes 16 through 20, which I believe will conclude Usopp's story within the next 2 episodes. I hope. Dear God, I hope. And I don't remember if there's. I think there's an episode of filler. Hopefully,
Oh
it's just
no.
one
Oh
episode,
no.
but I'm not sure. I think we'll get to introduce Sanji soon.
Yeah, I think let me have a look, because I was watching on Funimation. Let me have a look. 'Cause I'm pretty sure I saw Sanji in the thumbnail of episode 20,
That might be when we
I
get
if
think
I'm
it
introduced
not
to
has
him.
been at
wrong.
It
that.
might be the last episode of next week's batch then.
Yeah, it looks like he's at least in episode 20
Yeah,
somewhat.
because I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 episodes of filler after Usopp joins the crew. I don't know when we get the little buggy filler, but it's coming up at some point too. The Adventures of Little Buggy
Mm.
that happens. Um, but I don't think that happens until the One Piece filler arc, like the regular filler. But we'll get there. Hey,
Filler
we're
arc? Are we even gonna watch that if it's all just filler?
yeah.
I
It's
think
it's an
so.
episode of One Piece. It's an episode of One Piece. There aren't so filler arcs in One Piece are pretty short. I think
Okay.
almost every filler arc we come across will be done in a single recording session. I don't think many of them are ever more than 4 or 5 episodes, ever.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think most are 2 to 3 at most, and some are even just one. Um,
Yeah.
and to be fair, I think one of the longest filler arcs in One Piece is also considered like one of the best arcs of One Piece, and many fans wish it was
No,
canon.
Chuck, you mean.
Yes, with Jonathan, yes.
It's such a good arc.
It and that
Who?
character has there's a Navy character who will get introduced later who is a fan favorite. So much so Oda decided to make him canon because he was introduced in a filler, an anime only filler that was so beloved for its writing and handling of characters and pacing uh, that
Hmm.
the fans were like, "We like him more than a lot of your actual characters." And Oda went, "Shit, all right, we'll make him real. We'll make him a real boy. I'll show him in the background of things
I
doing
was
stuff
gonna say,
sometimes."
like, make him a real boy.
Yeah. So that happened. We'll find him later. I think that's like episode like 260 or some shit. That's a
Mm.
ways out there.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a very short filler in the East Blue Saga with again Little Buggy, and I think it's mostly just him like following the Straw Hats to like in the places they went while his crew looks for him. And
Mm.
then towards the end of the arc, there is like a 4 episode filler arc, but it's also very good and can make me cry, which is one of the rare times I will cry to filler arc. It's a decent arc with some really
There is
weird animation. It's very good.
there is one character that I have heard of. I know what they look like and I know their name, but I know nothing else about them because I've seen like clips and images.
That's a good start.
Like before I started watching One Piece, I'm just curious when they show up.
Who?
Junior, do you know someone called Kaido?
Yeah. Kaido. The first instance of us hearing about Kaido is like maybe around episode 80. But like physically
Oh,
seeing
that's not too
Kaido,
far then.
physically actually
Hey?
seeing Kaido, much later.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, he gets
Because I have
referenced by
like
other
I've seen what he
characters.
looks like.
Yeah, he's the big bad of the current manga series. Like where the show is now, Kaido is the ultimate bad that we're currently I won't spoil because the manga just is in the process of closing that arc after 3 years or 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah,
Also,
4 years
I
of
saw
just being
Kaido.
in one arc.
By the
The
way you were
fight
phrasing it,
alone. The fight
by
alone
the
was
way,
2 years.
Yeah, yeah,
by
it's
the
a
way
big
you're
fight.
phrasing it, I was like, oh, is Kaido like the big bad of One Piece at
No,
the
you
entirety?
also already know who that probably is for the most part, from the video game you've played, where we
I did not
discussed
play any
that.
One Piece video
Well,
game.
no, the jump start game thing with all the shonen
Jump
characters
Force.
that you referenced. I don't remember the name of it.
Oh god. There is literally two
Yeah, you
characters that
listed
I
off
could
two of them, and one
possibly
of them is
think
like the
right.
big bad. It was Sabo and Blackbeard, and I'll give you a hint. It's
Oh
not
yeah,
Sabo.
Summer and
It's not
Blackbeard.
Sabo.
I'm guessing it's Blackbeard
Yeah.
then.
Um, we
Oh,
don't
okay.
know for sure he's going to be the ultimate big bad, but he's sort of being built up to it. He actually gets introduced to us way earlier than all the other big bads. We meet Blackbeard like at episode like 120. Like he's coming up. Like he's relatively close compared to most.
Well, when you say it like that, no, it's not. But like,
I mean, to
we'll
me,
get
100
there.
episode 120 is very close. To me.
I mean, compared to 1,000, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. I think Kaido's introduction is like physically God. When does Kaido actually show up in the flesh? It might not be till after the time skip, which is around episode like
It's after the
Right.
time skip.
yeah, I think he shows up to beat up a bunch of other people who are doing something off screen. Uh I think that's around episode like 600, 700. He
Yeah.
gets
Why have all the people that why are
he
all the people that I'm like, I know this person, I've seen them before. Why are they all so late? I don't even want to know where Brooke is now. I don't want to know when Brooke shows up now.
it's a while.
Of course it is.
I mean, well, Brooke is the last member to join the crew before the time skip. But there is a huge arc, which is one of my personal favorite arcs that sort of happens before the time skip, and it's after Brooke is introduced, but Brooke is not a part of it, which is I won't spoil anything about that, but Brooke shows up around. There's a whole arc where Brooke shows up, and it's very good. It's great. But it is a ways out. It's like season like I don't know 12 something. I don't know. I don't know how they divide the seasons.
Cool, because he's a skeleton.
He's very cool. He has a very great laugh. His laugh is yo.
Oh no.
He's fantastic. I
Oh
can.
no.
He has a song that he sings called Binks Sake, and I can sing the whole song in Japanese.
Very
Because I'm
cool.
just that kind of One Piece nerd, where I just listen to and sing that song enough that I just have it memorized in a different language than what I normally speak.
I could have sworn that laugh you did. I swear I've heard it
Oh,
before in a
probably.
different anime, but it was like paired with the
Yo.
most annoying character ever.
Brooke has his moments. He's my favorite male Straw Hat for what it's worth. I love him. I love Brooke. I love his whole story. You want to talk about me
Like I don't
crying? We'll get there. We'll get there.
like I don't know about Brooke, but I swear like in another anime I've heard that kind of laugh and it was like it was just voiced and it was like that laugh was paired with the most annoying character in existence, but I can't remember who it
Well,
was.
for Brooke, it's the pirate laugh, right? It's the yo ho ho ho, but he just has a very high voice and says it
Yeah.
fast.
But it
Yeah.
was like that sort of tone for like a complete different character. I'm like, you're annoying.
Oh, Brooke has his moments, but
Yeah, I'm sure Brooke is awesome.
but that is those 5 episodes, and we're like an hour and a half in now. We should wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do.
Because I had to teach 5 classes today, and I had to talk the whole time on all those classes because I had to do my self introduction to a bunch of new students, which is just me talking about me and where I'm from for an hour 5 times in a row. So my throat is dead, man. I spent literally all day repeating the same exact thing 5 times, and it was all just about where I'm from. It's just like, hey, I'm from Canada, you're from Japan, and you've never seen anything beyond like a mile from where you live. The world's big. And they're like, wow, it is. I'm like, yep, get ready for me to talk for an hour and try and make it fun. But they had fun.
Geography classes.
Yeah, well, no, it's just English. It's just teaching English. It's just introducing myself as their new English teacher, right? But it was
Um,
fun. It was fun, and I love it. And I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't because my throat is sore because it's worth it. Working with the kids is the best part of my day right now. Though this is a close second. But we're gonna end it here. Mite Mite no podcast, episode 3. We will return to be continued, as One Piece likes to end their episodes with, next week with episodes 16 through 20, and maybe at some point we'll get to meet the blonde twink. Maybe. Or we'll just skip all those episodes. All right, goodbye.